talking about 7 serial killers in the U.S. who have a higher body count than what they were charged with. The sad truth is most serial killers are executed or die before all their victims are discovered, and by then law enforcement seem to give up on pinning more murders on them, so more than half their victims are never given justice, as it costs a lot of money to run DNA and do forensics on victims after the person they suspect is either caught or dead. Here are the 7 serial killers. Number 7, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy may be the most famous serial killer of all time. He does seem to get most of the credit, but in terms of the most famous was only solely based on body count, Bundy would only be 7th on this list. He was convicted of 28 murders the day he went to death row, but after his execution in 1989, 6 more murders were pinned on Bundy, and he was convicted of those 6 after he died. However, that was only the ones he was convicted of. He was suspected in 37 more deaths, and 11 maybe he did it, because he was around at the time, bringing his death toll to 82. If he were convicted of all the murders he is suspected of, that is scary to think he died before they even got half his victims pinned to him. Bundy is said to have confessed to only 36 murders, but he did say there could be more, he just does not remember. Most serial killers for some reason want the fame, but after they are jailed, the thrill runs away, and they stop confessing to murders because there is nothing to gain for them. And 90% of serial killers are suspected of more killings than they are actually charged with. Some people claim he confessed to 80 plus murders, but these are just rumors, and there is no evidence to say he did confess to that many. However, he did confess to 4 more murders in Washington and 3 in Colorado, and those 7 girls have never been given justice, as all 7 are still open cases with evidence that points to Bundy as the one who killed them. Number 6, Orville Lynn Majors. Majors was a nurse and was convicted of killing 6 people at his job. Since his death in 2017, 13 more murders have been pinned on the dead nurse. However, they suspect him of 60 more murders, bringing his total to 88. There is enough reason to suspect him in all those killings, as doctors and nurses who kill normally have a very high body count, as they tend to use medications to kill already dying people. Most times they go unnoticed for years. Majors never really confessed to the killings during his trial, and even after he was convicted, he did not confess until 3 years before he died. And even then, it was only to the 6 that he was convicted of. Some investigators feel he did in fact kill all 88, meaning he killed some in the same day, and he got away with it long enough to rack up a body count. Some think Janine Jones killed more than Majors, but they only suspect her of killing 50, so she is not even suspected of killing more than Majors, making him the most deadly medical professional killer in American history. His roommate in prison said he was open about talking about his killings, and that his killings even at one time told an inmate he killed over 100 people at the hospital he worked at. However, this inmate was a known liar, and his story holds very little water. If Majors did kill 88 people, then that puts him in the top 10 in U.S. history for body count, right ahead of Ted Bundy. Number 5, Richard Kuklinski, known as the Iceman. He was a mafia hitman. Some say his stories are all lies, and he really only killed 9 people. That he is claims of 200 is far-fetched, and while they have dismissed more than half the people he said he killed, he was convicted of 9 and 2 after his death, but was suspected in 70 more deaths, including none other than Jimmy Hoffa, and 11 maybes, bringing his total to 92. However, that's still 108 from his 200 that he claims. He had some cold interviews over the years, and he was called out by the mafia as a liar and a known idiot. However, he was convicted of murder, so the mafia's claims hold little water. In fact, some of his stories were even proven true. He did kill his best friend over money. That was true. And he did kill a mob boss's girlfriend for calling his wife and making a scene. However, his claim of killing 8 men at a bar at once was never proven, and it was more likely that it was a few shooters, not just one man. He made claims like shooting a guy in the head with a crossbow just to see if it worked, and his claim about shooting a guy in the Adam's apple to see how long it would take to kill him are hard to prove or disprove. However, we all can agree the guy was ice cold and had some real issues in life. He was a cold guy, but he had a calm sense about him that made him even more chilling. I can't say I'm sorry that he is no longer with us. Number 4. Donald Henry Gaskins. Known as the Pee Wee Killer, as he only stood 5'4" and was known as the meanest man in America. He killed men, women, and children, but he liked killing kids more than adults. He was a sick man to say the least. He made claims he killed 150 people, but some of those claims had been proven untrue. He drove a pitch black hearse, and he was not even in the funeral business. Everyone in town was scared of the guy, and he was a known troublemaker. He was convicted of 9 murders for sure, including a baby that he raped first before he murdered. He is suspected of 90 killings in total, and 79 of those young people between the ages of 2 and 15 years of age. He said he liked killing kids because they made the best noises when he hurt them. He said he could really only get off sexually by kids, and that he only got his wife pregnant because he killed a child an hour before and was still sexually stimulated, and that he never ever before or after was able to get off sexually with his wife. A twisted man to say the least, and his stories leading up to his death, all of them were just crazy. Most of his stories were proven true by others, including his own daughter. The first 6 they found were able to identify. The last 3 were very, very old, meaning he killed them, and the authorities say it would have been 3 to 5 years earlier that he killed those 3 that they found. He killed his friends, even, and people who helped him commit crimes. He had no issues killing anyone, and even tried to kill his own wife. The only thing he never did was that he did never try to hurt his own daughter, never tried to kill her, and she never knew he was a killer, even when she was an adult. When he was arrested, she was 25 years old at the time. Number 3. John Wayne Gacy. Also known as the Killer Clown, Gacy's story is famous, and most people know or have heard about him before. He is definitely the stuff of nightmares, and his home was the tomb for 33 young boys they carried out of there. He was convicted of killing 33, but they suspected him in 55 deaths in 3 states. They think he actually started killing at the age of 17. They also think 20 may belong to Gacy, bringing his total up to 108. Law enforcement say they know for sure that at least 12 victims they found after Gacy died 100% belonged to him, but they never filed charges as it is hard to convict a dead man of crimes. They barely waste the money anymore to pin the other boys found and suspected Gacy. At one point, Gacy did say he killed over 100, but quickly recanted that, saying he was medicated when he said that, and that he only killed the 33 he was convicted of. He stuck to his story, though, at first, even when they pulled the bodies out, that it was not him and somebody else hid the bodies in his house. Shortly before he died, he did, however, finally confess to killing them, and said it was an impulse he never understood. He was also mad the media was comparing him to other serial killers, and he said he hated that word and not to call him one, that they killed for fun, he killed because he was sick. Regardless of his ire towards the term, he is well known as one of the most famous serial killers of all time, and that will stick with his legacy forever, and we are all glad he is gone. Number 2. Samuel Little. This guy is a real piece of work. From 1973 to 2005, he killed women in 19 states. He was only convicted of 8 at first, but the FBI linked him to 61 more killings and suspect him in at least 118 cases total. 118, and he's number 2 on this board. Little is a little more recent of a convicted killer, and he did not get the glam or fame as Bundy or Gacy, but he killed more than they did as far as actually convicted kills goes. Little has more than Gacy and Bundy combined, but this is not about confirmed. This is about totals, and Little has 118 total. He was a drifter and at times homeless. He was very smart when it came to killing. He never stayed in a state after a few murders for too long, and would move on and come back years later after the cases were cold. The fact that 80% of all serial killers are white men allowed him even more cover from the profilers. In fact, his first profile was so dead wrong that for 11 years they were looking for someone that was not even close to Little or even the same color. In prison, he has made over 100 drawings of victims in his head, and he has put them to paper. And to everyone's surprise, his sketches match up well to known victims. He has no remorse, he said. They are all part of him now, and he has no regrets about the women he killed. He in an interview said killing them was like breathing or going to the bathroom. It just came natural and felt natural to him, and it was a part of him for 40 years. He only stopped killing in 2005 because his age caught up to him, and he could no longer kill women because he was frail, and the one time he tried, she got away, thus leading to him retiring. It's sad to think he got away with this for 40 years, and the only reason he stopped killing was because serial killers don't get AARP or a pension, and it was his arthritis getting too bad that kept him from killing anymore. Number 1. Gary Ridgway. Known as the Green River Killer, I bet many of you were wondering if he was on this list. And while at the moment, yes, Samuel Little is considered the most prolific serial killer of all time, Ridgway actually has a higher suspected body count, with 50 confirmed, 74 suspected, and 20 maybes, puts him at 144. They even, when convicted him at his trial, said they will never know for sure how many people he killed, and furthermore, he has never confessed to killing anyone other than those he was convicted of. He did write in a journal in prison that he remembers the names of his victims, even the ones the police do not know about. This information was leaked by guards to the media, and the frenzy began. Many police in other areas think Ridgway dumped bodies in other parts of the Northwest, not just the Green River, as they have found since 2010 29 more bodies that were skeletons and have been there for a long time. All of them are suspected to be his victims, but as stated earlier, once they convict or the killer dies, they stop most times pinning murders on them. Ridgway's profile was very accurate, since another serial killer helped the FBI make it. It's funny that the most famous serial killer, Ted Bundy, helped catch, at the time of his arrest, the most prolific serial killer. I wonder if Ridgway holds a grudge towards Bundy for it. Well, there you have it. 7 serial killers with higher body counts than what they were convicted of. If you liked the video, please subscribe and hit like. Thank you for watching.